you get an approved T visa and you're in removal proceedings, termination is mandatory according to the statute. So that was another thing I did talk about a little bit in my book. But if somebody has a deportation order already in place, like an in absentia deportation order against you because you didn't show up to court for whatever reason before, and then the T visa is approved, it's not necessarily mandatory to reopen the deportation. It's mandatory to terminate it if proceedings get reopened. So our office has to do some work and file motions and try to get the case reopened and terminated for people who have like these old prior deportation orders on their record. And we've gotten some really great wins recently. So even for people who were physically deported and re-entered, and then we filed a T visa years later and got their T visa approval, we've seen that the government has been willing to reopen and terminate those proceedings for some of our clients. So if you can't clean up the deportation order for whatever reason while the person has T status, in terms of, again, what protection do we have? You can have T status even with a removal order against you. And then the next step is later on applying for a green card, and the green card can still be approved with a deportation order against you. And once that's done, then again, you have another shot at like reopening and terminating the deportation to clean it up down the road for American citizenship and for making travel easier and things like that. So there's lots of different protections along the way for people pursuing T visas, and it's not always black and white. I obviously get very upset if we don't get a bona fide determination decision quickly or a positive one. For those we have to, there's this, it can take weeks. We work through what we can do to try to figure out, is there anything that we could do differently to try to get a positive determination here? Do they have anything under another type of status like DAC or something else that we can just renew while we're working on trying to get full T approval? Is there a litigation option? But on the whole, just globally, I'm still seeing pretty good decisions coming out of immigration. So if I have sounded this entire hour like all I did was complain about the government, I do apologize. I often see really great things happening. If I didn't, I wouldn't be filing immigration cases, right? But when we're talking about the what ifs, the things that people are the most scared about, then of course I'm going to talk about, well, if this doesn't work out, here's what we might do. If you don't have protection here, we might go to this other option. We want to always do some good strategy there too. So depending on which service center an application is filed at, it can change processing times, but many times T visa or U visa processing times are all circling. It's like by the time you get to the drop-down menus on the immigration website, they're giving information that's pretty specific there. So overall, though, the 32-month processing time for T visa applications is nationwide. So if your application was filed at one center versus another, probably no major difference there. So just my best guess. But so that's that. This hour flew by and I loved all the questions. To each of you who asked a question, you are super brave for coming out and asking today. I know that it's hard to ask questions.